Not much to talk about this week. I say that, and yet I end up still producing a long video somehow. Pretty much, it's all based around whether Hiro is going to save Taiga from the injuries he took that are life-threatening. Enough of it hit his heart to make it so that the surgery is so difficult that only Hiro himself could perform the surgery, but he's being told by Masamune not to do it, to intentionally sabotage the surgery so that he's in a lose-lose situation. It's like, if he saves Taiga, he loses his girlfriend. Though, it's not like, not to be cruel about this, but as I've said through the entirety of this arc, he made the absolute wrong decision if he ever wanted to save her, since first he was sustaining the life of Graphite, who has her memory, which they need to restore her. Then that was proven right when they actually showed her, and all she was a endlessly repeating robot of her last statement. And then, of course, we had Masamune trying to kill her as a threat to get Hiro to acquiesce to his demands, and of course the whole Graphite is infected by Game Deus's virus thing, which is going to inevitably cause her save data to be corroded or deleted. Now, you see this from a mile out that everything wrong concerning the best case win scenario for Hiro is his own damn fault, and there's a bit of recognition for that with how Hiro acts in this episode, as he ultimately decides to save Taiga's life at the cost of never being with Saki again. I presume that, but knowing how Kamen Rider series of the Neo Heisei era have ended, there's good odds that they're going to do Sex Machina way for her back, or that it was just empty data that recovering Graphite's save data somehow, or deleting Graphite for good would free it or something, and I doubt that's how that's going to be. But, regardless, if they actually follow through with this and don't revive his girlfriend, I'm honestly okay with that. Yes, it's part of a tragic character arc that is admittedly, I shouldn't say has been lacking in Kamen Rider as of late, as people die throughout the franchise all the time, but it's like, with the tendency to resurrect relevant characters, death has kind of lost a bit of a meaning in the main series due to wish fulfillment. Now, fortunately, Japan has mostly gotten sick of the endless resurrection plot device, which I'm right in on there, as it's like, if you expect nobody to die, then it, like, lessens the drama of when you put death right there on the table. Kamen Rider Ghost, for example, showed that directly, of us caring less over time about characters who were effectively immortal despite, you know, how that time limit ticked down. So, if they don't actually revive Saki, I'd be fine with that. It would be a truly tragic character moment for Kagami and how he chose to do the right thing, even at the cost of self, which, as I've said in many of my videos about Kamen Riders, the sacrifice of self for the right moral and ethical reasons is a sign of a good rider. I say that as there are a few protagonist writers who don't really get this, so, anyways, that's pretty much the episode with at least with regards to the main plot. I really liked, however, the scenes where how Hiro was in many ways cracking down under the pressure. Like, it was right in front of him, and he couldn't go through with it. Either to whether he was emotionally incapable of actually murdering someone, or from the desire to get absolutely everything he's ever wanted, like revenge on Taiga and his girlfriend back in the same moment, but it didn't have it in him, and that's really a credit to the character, how he owns up to his, I wouldn't say sins, but bad decisions, because certainly siding with Kronos has been unequivocally ruled a bad decision among people on discussing this whole storyline with him. Of course, we get a bit more of seeding for the next elements of things, as once more, Masamune goes after Parad and Graphite, and they once more try to paralyze Kronos by using Game Deus's virus to paralyze the Buggle driver. And you know what? At this point, I think Kronos is going to die in a fit of irony as that virus propagates, as he has a copy of the virus now in a bug visor, meaning he can spread that virus onto other people. So, if there's still virus in his bug visor and that's where it manifests at, we actually get, all things considered, we now have two possible manifest points, either from Graphite or from Kronos. Kronos, I think, would be the more appropriate irony as the one who's usurped the Game Master role for his own good, is for not for his own good, for his own glorification, his like his son, he has a superiority complex. So it would make sense for one who wants to be the ultimate controller of lives to be host to the ultimate digital virus. I mean, he has the absolute immunity, but of the existing viral strains. If he's infected with Game Deus's virus through proxy of his bug visor, then that immunity would be suspect. And it would actually make sense for some other aspects of this for him to end up being it, as all things considered, that would lead well into why I presume either Parad... They're advertising that Parad's going to die in the next episode with the the teaser trailer for next week, but I doubt they're going to go that route due to Exide True Ending, because I presume that's not going to be just a straight alternate universe story, but a story set in the same continuity as the show, as they've been doing for Rider movies for God knows how long. Like, not the spring movies, I'm meaning the starring movie for the current protagonist, Rider. Like, Double Forever was canon, O's Wonderful is questionable as there's continuity errors. Force's movie was canon, because it's called back to. Wizard movie never happened, but only due to timey-wimey, and Gaim and Drive both tied theirs in. Oh, and Ghost's movie was referenced back in the main show after it would have happened. So yeah, aside from O's, we've got this kind of consistent chain of protagonist movies factoring into the show for quite a number of years now. So it would make sense to have the expectation that Exide True Ending is not actually the true ending, but they're using that naming style because, you know, gaming references are the thing for this show. That's my logic to it all, at least. So, I doubt Parad's going to die next week, even though we're going to have the whole thing with Game Deus being the next viral outbreak of game syndrome and Emu needing to get past him. Which was, again, good setup here for that, as you think as right after they infect his Buggle driver with Game Deus's virus, then the Level 0 riders, Kuroto and Kiria, come in and they have a brawl with Kronos to keep him from deleting Parad to cure Emu's game syndrome, considering they need Muteki on the board to deal with Kronos. And then there's the next bit with him, him having locked down all the energy items so no one else but him can use them. And he's holding them in a refurbished, repainted O's medal holder, which ties into a new marketing item that Bandai is releasing. It's like, it makes sense for it to show up in story, but it feels kind of toyetic with how they executed the whole thing. It's like, it's another give and take thing with this series. It's like, okay, you're shelling something that you're trying to sell to people, but you're making it have a story-relevant role with how Kronos is once again manipulating the system of the game for his own benefit against people who want to kick his ass. I like it, but I can also see the detractor camp on why it's kind of jerkish. At the very least, it keeps them from needing to put all the game token icons out as like, you know how all series they've been having to in all of their shooting locations they'd have to put out all these props. As the finances for each of these shoots are going down because it's the end of the series, it makes sense to limit these things or remove them entirely to just save on shooting expenses, because those things would be tedious to set up between takes of things. So yeah, or even the digital effects to transition them in around everyone. But yeah, Hiiro Kagami comes back to the side of the good guys, and in a fight with Emu, they kick Kronos' ass, and he is only saved by an energy item token. And really, they should have... If I can have a critique of this, he really should have bum-rushed him, like, or pretended to actually have gone through with it, gotten Saki back, and then revealed that it was all a lie with, say, Poppy using her own Buggle Driver to transfer Saki's data into her driver, and thus, you know, get her out of harm's way while Hiro and Emu do the beatdown, because that would have been an absolute win condition, but they had to keep the drama up for things, but... Or maybe that's just something they didn't think of when writing this, or scripting this, or directing this, to make it actually tragic instead of the characters being intelligent. But as I kind of pointed out with the recent arc with Kagami, it's just that he's not been the best he's not been thinking these things through. I mean, it could have been the best way to deal with... Okay, admittedly, Saki was not out of Kronos' Buggle Driver until he released her to be deleted, so it's not like they could snag it from him out of the blue, so yeah, I guess that wouldn't have worked, but it would have been an idea. Though, like, I said at the beginning of that pretending would allow him to release it, and then they'd go off to have their thing, yeah. Evidence in episode versus planning out an alternative. It could go either way. So yeah. Pretty basic episode. You're really more carried on the storyline for it by the drama and character investment on whether Hiro would actually go through with it, and they set up a situation which could have presumably had him go through with it. So it's not like it's empty drama. But I feel this is one where you have more enjoyment of it if you've been invested through the series. It's like, it's not a good bring people into the show episode. It hinges on so much of a character relationship, especially since it concludes with resolving the character animosity between Taiga and Hiro by them both apologizing for the other for their conduct, which, yeah, they kind of have both needed to resolve that, and hopefully Taiga's probably going to be out of the action for a few more episodes if they want to make his recovery seem quote-unquote realistic, because, you know, this series has been pretty decent about realism with all of its story points, even though it is about doctors using gaming devices to fight a digital virus in the real world. It really does sound silly when you say it out loud. But yeah, that's all I got, and just putting this out there, I'm going to be moving soon, so I'm not certain how many more of these vlogs I'm going to be putting out alongside a lot of my other video production stuff, because, you know, real life issues. I'm going to have a more formal announcement when I get some other stuff done. It'll be released at the end of my double reviews. Those, however, have been going very well so far. I've got almost everything up on YouTube. I'm editing the last of those this weekend, and they should last through early August. And if you're enjoying them, I thank you all. I've been hearing some good feedback about the effort I put into those, and I really wanted to do right by double with those. So I hope you all are going to be enjoying the ride. Yes. I'll see you all later.